Should we do this?
Yeah, I think so.
All
Go for it.
Well, we're actually going to do this. This is shocking. We've been talking about this for
a year.
Yeah,
because we were joking about it last year, and we're like, we're not going to do it. And here we are. We're doing it.
Finally got off our ass and actually.
Yes.
Hey. All right. Well. Lap It Like It's Hot, guys.
Woohoo.
So we're going to talk a little bit today. We're calling this preseason, just talking about what's going on before the season starts. I'm assuming some of you know what IndyCar is. Some of you probably don't. If you're coming from another motorsport world like IMSA, F1, even NASCAR, we kind of like IndyCar more.
Yeah. Well, I came from an F1 world. Like my parents, my dad's from Italy, so hardcore Ferrari fan. Yeah. But yeah, that's now, not that it's unobtainable, but it's, I don't know. You just can't, you don't get a lot of exposure here in the States.
Yeah. Even with the races that they have here, I still feel like the races we've gone from IndyCar side, they're better. Like they give more exposure to fans.
Yeah, they're definitely fan based, whereas like F1 is very, it's the couture and the elite and stuff like that. So you're just sitting in a bleacher and you can't move and you can't do anything because it's so crowded versus Indy that you could just walk you can go behind the paddock. You don't need special passes for some of these places. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're going to probably have to introduce ourselves because we're just yapping away. And,
Indeed.
So I'm Monica. Hi, y'all. I don't know, when did I actually get into IndyCar? I've always watched the 500 in some capacity, even in college. I worked at a sports bar in college and we always had the 500 on. Did I know the drivers at the time? No, but I always somehow ended up watching it every year. And then during the pandemic, we had nothing to do. So we just started watching old Indy 500 races and we actually watched Elio win his fourth. And I was like, okay.
What year was that? That was during the pandemic?
Yes. Oh, 21? 21.
Okay.
It was because Takuma won in 2020, which was like the weird 500 when no one was there.
I hate that.
Could you imagine winning the 500 and then the stands are empty?
Oh, that's devastating. It's like, might as well not even happen. Like,
I know. And then Elio winning his fourth, like the first year fully back was also like incredible. Like, could you have imagined if he won his fourth and no one was there either?
I know.
So we watched that live and I was like, all right, this is kind of fun. For the longest time, I always associated ovals with NASCAR. Yes. I never thought that
I did too.
Like F1 doesn't do ovals, so I didn't think any other open seaters did it. And I was like, oh, they do it. And then after that, we actually went to the 500 in 2022 and that was it. Just the overall spectacle of it all and the people and the traditions and the culture and then the racing. I was like, all right, I'm going to watch the entire 2021, 2022 series. And then 2023, every Sunday I watched it. Like, awesome. I don't think unless I was at a race, I don't think I missed watching a race live last year.
That's awesome.
So super excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be into this either. Like, so my name is Milena. Monica and I are actually next door neighbors. So thank goodness that she moved in next door and, introduced me to this. But it's not, again, I think the same thing, like my dad grew up in Italy, lived by the Ferrari factory in Modena. And so as a kid, that was my exposure, like the F1 world again, but I didn't really know anything, about it. I went to my first F1 race in Indianapolis in 2000 or 2001.
Wow.
It was, it was Schumacher. Obviously, Schumacher and Barrichello that were Ferrari drivers. Those are the only two drivers that I remember. I know that they won that race, which was pretty fun to watch too. After that, then I know my husband, John, he went to F1 races. I know he went to Canada. And then we went to like right before like F1 really blew up here in 2021, like the Lewis and Verstappen kind of rivalry. Like we were in Austin. So that was pretty cool. But again, after that, like the tickets just went ballistic. And sure, it's fun to watch on TV. It's fun to watch the Netflix series and stuff. But like, yeah, we just wanted, just being at a race is so much fun. Again, the we'll talk about Road America and stuff like that. I think that was like one of the more fun races because it's just, that structure is there. The fan base is there. Like everyone is so friendly and welcoming. So yeah.
I kind of blame it on the Midwestern charm a little bit.
Yes.
Like I know that IndyCar races Canada all the way to from California to Florida, but there's just this like the Midwestern roots of IndyCar, I think, brings a more welcoming environment.
The Sargento factory is not far from Road America.
If you haven't heard, we really love cheese. But I don't know, maybe because, born and raised Midwestern, like just having that kind of tradition, and I don't think I've ever felt unwelcome at a race.
No.
Like you go in and you see young kids that are like, 4 or 5 years old, all the way to folks that have been going to races for 45, 50 years. Like, I think that's really just a true testament of the series. I think the series is doing a lot to bring in more people like in our demographic as well as younger, more, in the Gen Z demographic as well. And I think that's good for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do hope that this season is as good as last year's season, because last year was filled with everything you could possibly imagine. Scandals, drama, teammates hating each other, almost fist fighting in the pit lane.
They get physical. I mean, a lot of of course, they're mostly American drivers, so they're not afraid to get physical versus, in F1, you get the cordial gentleman-like behavior. But, the Americans, they're a little more pizzazzy than that. So
not everyone in the IndyCar paddock is media trained. Let's just say
Yes.
that. And we love that. Don't do that. Please don't get media trained. We love seeing the real you.
Yes.
But this year is kind of a different year too. We have 11 teams this year, which brings us to 27 cars on the grid, which is actually a really large grid. And we have a new charter system where, that we've never had that before. So we're mimicking what NASCAR has been doing for a very long time as well. And we'll talk about Prema at the end, but having a new team come in out of the gate with 2 cars,
mm-hmm.
with funding.
I mean,
lots of funding.
And that doesn't happen very often, right?
No.
When was the last new team before Prema? I don't even know. Now I got to look that up.
Yeah, look that up. I do think it's difficult because you look at Arrow McLaren and they finally did the full purchase of the team this upcoming season. Part of me wants to say it's Juncos Hollinger Racing is probably the last new team without any funding from any of the big teams.
Mm-hmm.
But Prema came in, they don't have a charter, and they said, fine, 2 cars out of the gate. We want to race in Indy.
Yeah. I gotta search a little bit better.
All right.
Yeah. So what we know then that it is very, rare to have a new team to watch and see what's going to happen to them this season.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of promise.
They do. And we'll talk a little bit more about preseason testing in a little bit, but we'll see how they compete with the rest of the grid this week, because they did their first test, I think 2 weeks ago in Laguna Seca. So while they have Callum, who has raced in IndyCar before, they have a driver who's never raced on ovals before doing a full season, which normally doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You usually have a driver that has never done ovals before, like Romain Grosjean did that when he came from F1. Marcus Armstrong did that when he came from F2. They don't race a full season, but with Robert.
Must have been Ericsson too, because didn't Ericsson come from F1?
He did, but I don't remember if he did a full year on ovals. We'll have to look that up too, but it's not common. And to be frank, it's a completely different feeling. Like you're going flat out, you don't brake, you don't anything, and one wiggle and you're in the wall, which is really scary. I could only imagine. Right. So let's do a little breakdown of the teams so that everyone listening can know a little bit more. So for 2025, like we mentioned, we have 11 teams. Mm-hmm. We'll start with Team Penske. Team Penske, man, they're good.
Or OGs, right?
Yeah, they're technically, Roger Penske has really taken majority of his motorsport teams and has made excellence. 2024 was the year of Penske. They won, Joseph Newgarden won the 500 back to back. You had NASCAR success, Formula E success, like whatever Roger touches, it turns to gold.
Mm-hmm. Did we see him when we were at Road America, or who is it? No, I think,
we saw Chip.
We saw Chip. Yeah.
Roger doesn't really go to a lot of the smaller, what I call smaller races, but maybe we'll see Roger at the 500.
I don't know. Maybe I have to know what these people look like.
Yeah,
so
we'll have to create like a little like poster when we go to these races with photos. Be like, is this you?
Yes. We'll make like maybe basketball cards or something like that, and be like, and mark it off as we go.
What are you doing? Nothing. We just wanted to see you.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk to you.
Right. It's just gonna be like a scavenger hunt of Indy. I think maybe that's what another thing we should do this year.
Oh my God, we should do a scavenger hunt when we're at IMS or at Road America.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
funny.
Team Penske this year has 3 drivers. Their lineup hasn't changed. So we'll talk about Joseph Newgarden. He's been with the series for a hot minute. He's won now 2 championships, 2 500s. The question now is 2025 going to be a three-peat?
Mm-hmm.
Which, sorry, Kansas City Chiefs, you didn't three-peat. Well, Joseph Newgarden three-peat.
Yeah, well, a lot of you guys may know him from the new commercials. Oh yeah, right? That they launched during they launched before that.
Yeah, but they
during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I still has a better jaw than Tom Brady.
Yes,
love that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So we'll see. Everyone keeps asking him, would you prefer winning another 500 or another championship? And he honestly wants to do a three-peat because he wants to be part of the, AJ Foyt Elio 4-timers club. Yep. And I think that's something that he really wants to do. We have Will Power. Oh, I love Will Power.
He's so he's a very genuine, he's one of the fiery ones, I'd say, right?
Oh,
Got the tude.
If you want somebody to flip you the bird, it's Will Power. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible. Will, honestly, he is in his 40s and he's still kicking ass and taking names.
For sure.
The fact that he almost won the championship last year. I know he had a really tough year in 2023 with his wife being sick.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad that she got better and then his racing got better. Like he's racing like a 29-year-old. It's incredible. So I really do hope that Will does well. He wants to keep racing for 5 more years, he said, in IndyCar.
No kidding.
Which, listen, if you want to be the first 50-year-old to compete full-time in IndyCar and you're still winning, more power to you.
Go for it, yeah.
And then we have Scotty Mack. Scotty. He just wants to win the big one.
Yeah.
He had pole for the 500 last year. He won his first oval last year, which now he considers himself a full-time IndyCar driver by winning on an oval for the first time. And he's fast. He's wicked fast. So I do think that Scotty will be in contention for the championship this year. So
we're getting some notes here. What's the matter?
God damn it.
This is our first time doing this. Yeah. That's Penske. So let's talk about, my favorite is Andretti, right? So everyone knows that name, obviously. So good old, Marco Andretti, the father of the team. I adore that man. So again, man, that's of course my dad's favorite driver. How old is he? 80, 70, 80? I don't even know.
I'll have to look up.
You'd have to look that up. But he's, obviously still around. You'll see him at some of the races and stuff. So for racing for Andretti is Marcus Ericsson. So we touched on him a little bit. So he came from F1. Colton, good old Colton Herta, who's what? So how old is he? Did we say?
So Marco is 37.
Marcos.
And Mario is 84.
84. I mean, legend, absolute legend. So Mario, I should say. He's the only, or one of the only, that's won the Indy 500 championship in F1. And what else?
Did he win Le Mans?
I don't know, but I know he's like one of the only ones that has a very extensive, pretty much rap sheet, right?
He's racing gold at this point.
Yep.
Everything he touches
is amazing.
Wins.
Yep. So So Marcus Ericsson, we have Colton Herta, who is, he was second or third in the championship. So he was second, right? I mean, he's also, I know he's got racing in his blood. I know his father raced and things like that. So he's, on to do great things, maybe possibly going to F1 2026. We don't know. So time will tell. And then we have Kyle Kirkwood, which I'm not going to lie, I know nothing about that man. So,
everyone loves Kyle, but I feel like it's such a Kyle thing to know nothing about him. I know he likes to fish.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's a Florida boy.
He's
really close with, if you follow F1, Logan Sargent. So they're close.
I do know something about him then.
The biggest question, though, is Kyle grew a beard during the off season, and the question is he going to keep the beard for the 25 season, or is he going to shave it?
Can you even have a beard with him?
Yeah, I think some drivers have not like a full beard, but like at least a little beard. But
yeah, it seems so uncomfortable in the helmet.
Beard, Kyle. Keep the beard.
Yeah. I mean, I like beards, so as long as it's comfortable and you can, it's I don't know.
I don't know why, but I need to fact check this, but I do think that Kyle did win the championship in what was back then Indy Lights. So
okay.
I think he was a champion or close to being a champion before he came onto the IndyCar scene. So
okay, all right,
that's Andretti.
Ooh,
also Colton, if you do go to F1. We love you. We'll miss you. But we
got a season to go. We can't even get there yet. We have a whole nother season.
All right. Let's talk about Chip Ganassi Racing. Speaking of, on the tails of Andretti, Chip, he also has winning in his blood.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Scott Dixon, Iceman, 6 IndyCar championships, Indy 500 win. That man can save fuel. I don't know how he does it.
He's got the magic touch. That's why he's there, right?
He needs to go and figure out our gas mileage issues on our cars because that man can drive a Honda with no gas in it.
Yeah.
But
teach me your ways, man.
I know,
I
right?
love Honda, so that's the only thing I drive. So,
do you have gasoline in your veins, and do you just plug in when you're running out of gas?
It's got to be the secret.
But he just keeps winning, and similar to Will Power, he's been around the paddock for quite some time, and he keeps winning, and he's been with Chip, and the support from Chip has been great. We also have Alex Palou. You also probably saw a commercial for Alex during the Super Bowl as well. He's a 3-time IndyCar champion. He came from European racing, came to IndyCar, and was just like, "Hey, I'm here, guys, and I'm going to win, and I'm going to win a lot, and I'm going to be consistent."
Yeah. Is he Spanish? Where's he from? Spanish.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's just things about him. He's always cool, calm, collected. He is always near carnage, but never is part of it. Like he has so many, you see a crash happen and then Alex is just right there. And you're like, how did you not get into it? Like his luck is impeccable. And he still hasn't won a 500 though. So I know that that's probably eating at him of, am I going to finally win? I got to pull. Am I going to win the big one?
Yeah, even though I feel like if you win a championship, these drivers are not whole until they win that 500. So
I think it's just you're immortal then.
Yeah.
You're on the Borg trophy forever. And championships are great, but people forget champions. They're not going to forget the faces that are on the trophy. So we'll see what happens this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third driver in his second year is Kiffin Simpson. He's going to be driving the number 8. And, I think his first season, every first season rookie, it takes a little time to get used to driving, but he is wicked aggressive. He takes no prisoners. So we'll see. With having Scott Dixon and Alex Palou as your mentors on your team, I think you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to do just fine. So we'll see how Kiffin does this year.
Totally.
With kind of not being a rookie anymore and see what he can do in his second season.
Cool.
All right, we're going to go to Arrow McLaren. All right, so let's talk about Arrow McLaren next. Mm-hmm. My favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
I look really good in papaya, I'm just saying.
It's a great color.
I know. It's very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Very high vis. People can see me walking from a mile away.
I think that's one of the when you're at a race, it's so hard to keep track of some of these cars, but you know who's the McLaren because you can see the colors, right?
Oh, yeah. Please don't ever get rid of the papaya. Thank you, McLaren. So Arrow McLaren has 3 drivers this season. We'll talk about Pato who? Who? Are there owls in here? No. We're going to talk about Pato O'Ward. Honestly, if you don't know who Pato O'Ward is, what are you doing?
Right.
He is not only one of the most followed IndyCar drivers in the paddock, his personality is as big as the paddock.
Oh my God, he was very cute. Actually, one of the first drivers that I got a picture with, that Monica was too scared to get a picture with.
Maybe one day I'll get a picture with you, Pato. His fan base are so passionate. They love him. They want him to win. We have sat there multiple times now watching him be second at the 500, just going, all right, next year. I will say I did cry a little last year when he lost because it was just
to watch.
It was so emotional.
It's a hard race to see. So,
but he keeps winning. Yep. I know he's chasing it. I know he's chasing to kiss the bricks. He will do it. Maybe he'll do it this year when we're at the 500 so I can cry in person with 400,000 Pato fans. But he has been incredibly fast. He's one of the faces of the McLaren organization. He's also the reserve driver for McLaren F1. Mm-hmm. And
hopefully going to bring this to Mexico.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I can't wait.
That'd be cool.
Seeing him with all of his fans when he went to do the meet and greet in Mexico City during the F1 race. Wow. Mm-hmm. I could only imagine being told, you're not big enough, and then going and seeing thousands of fans screaming your name. Mm-hmm. We're a little proud of you. Yeah. But we have one driver, Nolan Siegel. It is going to be his first full season with Arrow McLaren. He raced a little bit during the 2024 season for a few other teams. Nolan is, oh my goodness, I could be wrong, 19. And he was doing really well in Indy Next. So, more power to him to, go through an Indy Next seat. And then next thing you know, next day, the big wigs are calling saying, hey, you're racing.
He's 20.
20.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being 20 and having to do bump day at the Indy 500 without even practicing or preparing for it?
So I guess this is last year you're talking about? Yeah. So then he was 19 last year. So he's 20 now. Yeah.
So the world's his oyster. He's got so much potential. He's going to be driving the number 7. No, that's a lie. The number 6, I believe.
Number 6.
Yep. So we'll see what happens this year. And then we have a newbie on the block, but not a newbie in the paddock. We have Christian Lundgaard, who has moved over from Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing over to Arrow McLaren. So this is going to be his first full-time season with McLaren. Christian is also really talented. He got that win. He had to shave the mustache finally for his first win in IndyCar. He is really fast. And so I'm looking forward to see what he can do in the number 7, especially at the 500. And, congratulations, Christian, on now papaya's your color.
Yes. And also one of the drivers that I have a picture with.
You do?
I do. Oh. I got one with Will. I got one with Christian. I got one with
Colton and Alex.
And oh my God, who's the other one?
Do you have one?
Renus,
yes.
Right?
You got one by proxy with Scotty. Scotty Mac was walking away, and you were like,
he's
in
the background,
and he's just giving a thumbs up.
Yes.
You have so many photos with drivers. I have one photo, and it's with Townsend Bell, who used to be a driver.
Yes, and I encouraged you to go, and you were like, I don't know, and I'm like, do it, just do it.
For our listeners, I don't know what it is. I just freeze when I see these people.
You get starstruck.
I do.
Okay. And I just pretend like I'm just someone's crazy aunt, and I'm just like, excuse me.
I need more of that in my life. My goal this year, y'all, is I want to at least take a picture with one driver each race I go to. So,
okay.
we're going to 3-ish races, 3 drivers. I think that's doable.
I think that's definitely doable.
So Pato's 100% one of them, because I know Pato will always take a photo.
He will. He'll stop, and he's very gracious, super. I mean, he's so photogenic. Oh. The picture I have with him is adorable. We look like BFFs. So
maybe you are.
Maybe we are.
And maybe you will be.
Oh my God, I hope so. That'd be great.
All right, enough of the Pato love. We'll move on to the next team.
Well, that's going to continue. I don't think that'll ever stop.
We will never stop loving you, Pato. Milena, do you want to go through the next couple teams?
Sure. I can talk about, so AJ Voigt. That's another legend in IndyCar. He's one of the guys who, he recently just turned, 90 something? Right? I saw that on the news. 4 Indy 500 wins.
Yep.
So he's part of that 4 club. And the drivers are Santino Ferrucci and David Malukas. I know Malukas, last year he was with McLaren. Now he's with Voigt, right?
Yeah, David had a rough year last year.
Yeah.
He got signed to Arrow McLaren to drive the number 6 and broke his wrist right before the season started. And unfortunately, if you're not racing and you're hurt, it's an empty seat. So,
but he's got, I mean, that's a high profile seat. I'd say AJ Voigt, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think, he's not in a bad spot.
No, and the few races that he raced with Meyer Shank, in the meantime, he almost won a Gateway before the carnage happened with all the crashes that happened at the end of the race. Gateway is his race, so I think Voigt is a good way. I know Voigt does have a partnership with Penske, so I wonder if he is waiting for a Penske seat, maybe. But we love little Dave. He's a Chicago native.
Yes.
Listen, Davey boy, we can show you a good time.
For sure. Actually, I saw that on his Instagram. Was it last week that he was going around the streets of Chicago?
Yeah.
So
I think he was at Gilt Bar. Good choice.
Gilt. He was by the Bean, all the big spots, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
if you want the really good hole in the walls, we got you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll share some Malort with you.
Oh, 100%. Any day. Any day of the week. So let's talk about, did we talk about Ed Carpenter yet?
No, not yet.
Ed Carpenter. All right. So I got another name. Yes. So we've got Christian Rasmussen and Alexander Rossi. We love Rossi. He's actually probably maybe inspired our podcast, right? He's got a podcast with
James.
Yes, James Hinchcliffe, right?
Should we plug it? Off Track with Hinch and Rossi?
Love it. That's another fun one to listen to if you guys are interested. So, who else we got? We talked about Ganassi, Dale Coyne.
Yeah,
we can talk about that one.
We can talk about Dale Coyne finally.
Yeah,
Dale pulled a Dale.
Was it yesterday?
Yep. Dale is very known for last minute driver announcements. So actually announcing it 2 weeks before the season start. Good job.
Standard.
Good job, Dale.
Yeah.
We'll do a little
Yeah.
Congratulations. So the lineup is actually full for Dale. We have Jacob Abel.
So was he the one that they announced yesterday?
No, Renus was yesterday.
Yes.
So Jacob Abel raced. He was second in Indy Next, and he is now going to be racing full time. Abel Motorsport has a ton of drivers in Indy Next. They are building. They tried to race the 500 multiple times, so it's nice to see Jacob actually doing a full time ride. And Renus coming in with 2 weeks left, but
that's all that matters. You got that seat. That's all that matters.
I'm excited for Renus. I think, after the news of Ed Carpenter, Ed taking a step back fully and not doing ovals anymore and giving Christian Rasmussen the full-time seat, and then Rossi coming in, everyone was questioning, where's Renus going to go? I'm really happy that Renus got that seat. He is great. He also has a lot of knowledge. So we'll see what he does at Coyne, which will be exciting.
Cool. And then did we talk about Meyer Shank yet?
No.
Meyer Shank? No, we didn't. So Marcus Armstrong. Yep. And Felix Rosenquist. Did he just get married, or was that just a Valentine's Day post?
No, he did get married right at the end of the season. I think it was September of last year. Okay. How do I remember that? I don't know. It was all over Instagram. Right? Pato was his best man.
No, I do remember. Yeah. So
congratulations.
Congratulations to him. That's amazing.
Yeah. Fro did great at Meyer Shank last year. Got some pole positions. I think they have really great potential. He's also wicked fast. So I could see Shank really being in contention for a lot of the races, especially on street courses. Fro is really great on street. And Marcus Armstrong, this is his first season with Shank. So he was on Chip Ganassi last year. So Marcus is going to be taking over the 66. And I think after his first 2 years in the series, I think he's finally got his groove. Unfortunately, his 500 was cut short. I think he only raced maybe 10, 15 laps before his car needed to retire. So I think hopefully this year he'll have a good shot at the 500. I know he was really disappointed in not racing in that.
Devastating. Everyone looks forward to it every year. So
Well, it was his first oval race too. And it's like, oh, the biggest oval race of the year. Just kidding. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon watching it from the stands. So we'll see what Marcus does at Meyershank. He actually, honestly, for someone who came from F2, from, the Ferrari world, never raced an oval, he's actually pretty good and speedy on ovals. So I'll give it to him. He's always consistent. So we'll see what him and Fro can do. But I do think Meyershank will be a top 10 team this year. Cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great.
Let's see, who else do we have? We have Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, so we have 3 drivers there. We have the OG Graham Rahal. So we have Graham, and then we also have Devlin DeFrancesco, who is coming back to the series. So he took a little time off last season to do other endurance series racing. He is now going to be in that second seat. And we also have Indy Next champion Louis Foster from Andretti taking over that third and last seat at RLL. So we'll see how Louis does in his first season. So he's doing the whole program, Roach Street Ovals. And Devlin has been in IndyCar before, so we'll see how they do. I know they have been struggling every year at the Indy 500. Graham was bumped in 23. So, we'll see what they do with their IndyCar program. Cool. Hopefully they can not be bumped. Yeah. Which would be great.
Yeah.
Who else are we missing?
Is it
Juncos? Hollinger Racing?
Yes.
All right. We have JHR. 2 new drivers as well.
Not new.
Well, for the team, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have who's your favorite? Connor Daly. We'll put an asterisk here. There has been some news that dropped yesterday about some funding issues for Connor with his main sponsor, Polkadot. So we are going to hopefully see Connor still on the grid, and hopefully he'll be able to get some more funding to be able to race the full season. I know he was super excited to be back on the grid full time. We were at the race where he got a podium for JHR in Milwaukee and got them into the leader circle. So he's great. I think, hopefully he'll stick around. But we do have Connor. And then in the second seat, we have Stingray Rob.
The best name.
Oh, we love your name, Stingray. Name.
Kudos to your parents for naming you that. So.
Oh, the love of Corvettes. But Stingray will be taking that second seat. So we'll see how he does, this season. I know every year he's been getting better and better. So hopefully he'll be able to continue that progression at JHR.
He had a big injury last year, didn't he?
I think
was it a big crash or something?
There have been a few big Stingray crashes. Yeah. I know one of them he raced, I think Rossi launched himself off of him.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, thank God for the halo, guys.
Yes.
So
safety first.
First.
We love safety.
All right. I think we only have one team left. We got Prema.
That's right. Prema. How could we forget? So my countrymen, I cannot wait to try and get some espresso from you on the paddock or something.
There better be a good espresso.
I can't, guys, being Italian, I'm so glad that there's at least 2 Italian names that are on this grid. I have all the faith in the world that you guys can do better than Nespresso. Even though Nespresso's not bad, I'll say it's okay, but give me a good Ale coffee, right? They better have it.
Listen, remember the coffee you got at Road America?
It was brown water.
Do better.
Not coffee.
Please
do better.
Prema, you have a chance to impact.
You do. Lavazza will do just fine. Lavazza, so.
And not just for hospitality for you guys. It needs to be for the people.
Right.
If not, please let us know where to find the good coffee.
Agreed. Please. So.
Well, we'll see what they do. We got 2 drivers for Prema.
A rookie, right? Robert Schwartzman is a rookie to this, so he's going to be my rookie of the year, I think.
Okay, all right. Do you know that he also likes to rap? He's got a little bit of a
No.
side hustle rap career.
Oh, we gotta. Oh,
We'll have to listen to some of it.
We will.
He does enjoy rap, which I think is incredible.
I mean, as a millennial, I can appreciate that,
Yeah,
right?
I want to know more.
Yes.
I really want to know more about
Agreed.
his rap career. And then we have not a stranger to the IndyCar paddock. We have Callum Ilott. Oh, Callum, I love you, Ilott. See what I did there? We're really excited to see Callum back in the paddock. He took a break and did World Endurance last season, but coming back with Prema, his roots, he's been with Prema, and we'll see what they get to do. And kind of off topic, but a little bit not, Romain Grosjean is the reserve driver for Prema. So having Romain and Callum there, I think will be helpful for Robert to really kind of get his grasp on everything.
And that's like a new concept for Indy, right? They really never had a reserve driver. No team really does. I think there was like a floater, right?
Yeah, I think Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, Yuri Vips has been kind of lightly considered a reserve driver. But this was like the first time I've seen where they're like, here is our reserve driver, Romain Grosjean. So we'll see
how it works out.
Yeah.
We'll see what that has in store, what that means for the season.
Yeah, they don't qualify for Leader Circle. They don't qualify for charters. They do get entries to all the races, including the 500. So we'll see, we'll see what they do. We'll see how they show up at St. Pete. I think they'll be fine on road and street courses. It's really going to be how do they show up to the 500, the first oval. And I really want to know if Robert's going to go as Robert in the paddock or if someone's going to start calling him Bobby. Someone's going to call him Bobby.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm sorry, but it's like that race where I forgot his name, called Charles Leclerc. Chuck.
Yes. Just like
Us Americans, we love nicknames.
We do.
So,
I'm so sorry. But Bobby, I mean, it's solid. Bobby Schwartzman. I mean, it rings.
It rings. It's a nice,
rings.
off the top, off the cusp way. So, but those are our 11 teams. We'll see what happens this year. I know we quickly talked about predictions. So you have Bobby as your Rookie of the Year.
I do.
So who do you think is going to win the championship and who do you think is going to win the 500?
I'm going with my boy Colton for both.
Ooh, both?
Both.
That's hard.
It is hard. But I have all the faith in the world on you. So do it, Colton.
While that would be amazing, could you imagine he wins the championship and the 500 and then leaves to go to F1 like on a high?
Yes.
And then can't come back and like try to do a back-to-back?
I don't know. I got it. I got the faith. I know you can do it, dude. So your predictions, tell me.
Well, I wouldn't be a Pato fan if I wouldn't say the 500 for Pato.
Of course.
Pato or bust for the 500. For the championship, I think Colton's going to do it.
Yeah.
I think he has enough momentum going into this season. As long as Andretti doesn't go through the luck of Andretti, or sometimes they're unlucky.
I know.
As long as everything stays clean, I think he can do it. So I have Colton. And then for Rookie of the Year, I have Louis Foster. Okay. Watching him race, he dominated Indy Next. Like, I just was watching him and I'm like, who are you? Where have you been? So I think being under the Andretti umbrella in Indy Next really taught him a lot around how to be an IndyCar driver, but those cars are different. So we'll see where Louis goes. But those, I think for Rookie of the Year, I think as long as he stays consistent, that should be in the bag for him.
For sure. Cool.
All right. So I think we can move on a little bit to just talking a little bit about the schedule and where we're going to be at.
Okay.
So we kick off St. Pete in less than 2 weeks.
March 2nd. Yep. At noon. And
then we have Thermal after that.
I would love to go to Thermal.
I know. I did check tickets.
I did too.
And I was like, well, we got to fly. Got to get a hotel.
Expensive. That's an expensive one. So.
And then after Thermal, we have
Long Beach.
Still another race I want to go to. News this off season. Penske Entertainment has taken ownership of the Long Beach Grand Prix, so that's nice to see more buy-in into the series. After Long Beach, we've got
Alabama.
Ooh, oh yeah, Barber's technically the first race of May, right?
May 4th. Yep.
Ooh,
May the 4th be with you. Yep.
All right, we got Barber. Let's see if Georgina will show up at Barber. And if you don't know who Georgina is, please Google Barber GP 2024 Georgina, and you'll see a lovely doll fall off a bridge. And it's incredible. She's our new mascot. And then we're in the month of May, y'all. So we have the Indy GP, Indy 500 practice and qualies. And then we have the big old Memorial Day weekend, Indy 500.
Yep. And this will be the first time that I've ever gone to the Indy 500. So me and John. So I know you've gone before. I'm excited.
Yeah, we've done GA for the last one we went to. This is going to be the first time we're in seats. We're on the start finish straight. If Pato wins and that's our seats,
we can just pass away right there.
You can bury me. You can bury me in the stands.
We'll pass away.
I will be a blob on the ground. You'll have to shovel me out of there.
Hopefully he runs into the crowd.
I won't let go.
Right. I know.
I won't take a photo with him, but if he wins the 500, damn it, I'm not going to let go. Or we can try to get the entire stadium to chant Pato Who.
That'd be cool.
Really?
We'll try.
Well, really, I think that would be awesome.
I think so.
And then after the 500, we go to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Detroit, we go to Gateway.
It's Gateway, yeah.
And then our second favorite race of the year
is Road America.
It's on my birthday weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's exciting. I currently have a Road America sweater on right now because, why not?
Best merch.
But totally.
Their hoodies
The hoodies they're amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Great quality.
And it was weirdly cold that time when we were there. So remember?
Oh, yeah. It was earlier. Was it earlier in the year?
Yeah, I want to say it was like the first or second week of June.
Yeah, I remember it rained on.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah,
fine.
That's all right.
Little rain will tour us away.
Agreed.
All right, after Road America, we've got
Mid-Ohio.
Okay. And then
what is this one? Hy-Vee? What is this one?
We're in Iowa, right?
Iowa?
Doubleheader in Iowa after that. And then we go to Toronto, which is our only international race. And then after Toronto, we go to
Laguna Seca.
Ooh, that's another one on the list. 1 year we got to go to Laguna Seca. And then after Laguna Seca, we go
to Portland.
Ooh.
Keep going with the West Coast.
And then after Portland, we go to Milwaukee, which is also a great race. If you haven't gone, Milwaukee's a fantastic race to go to.
Yes.
And then we end this season off in Nashville. It's a very condensed season. So with the new Fox deal, we learned that IndyCar will be on all the primetime slots on Fox between March and August. And all practice and qualifying will be either on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2. But it's great to see actual primetime slots. And
it's a good season.
We need to figure out, and maybe hopefully there'll be more information about streaming. I know that's been a hot topic this offseason on where to watch if you don't have cable. But having it be on Fox, honestly, the commercials.
They hit it out of the park with those commercials. I absolutely loved watching them. And again, putting them in the prime spots so people know what IndyCar is and almost to the, competing with F1. Right?
I know.
I think that
seeing
was
the Pato commercial right before the halftime show. I'm sorry, but what?
Yeah.
I was like, there's my boy.
Right.
And that's the moment everyone logs on. Because if you're not a football fan, you're still going to want to watch the halftime show. So
they knew what they were doing.
They invested a lot of money. I'm looking forward to the booth this year as well. So we have James Hinchcliffe coming back and Townsend Bell coming back. And a familiar face to IndyCar, but from the F1 world, we have Will Buxton. So we'll see what Will can do. It's great that he's coming back. I think it'll give us great visibility into from the F1 world. But Will loves IndyCar. Yeah. So I'm excited to see the booth as well. But yeah, so far I think the races we're going to be going to are going to be the 500, Road America, and Milwaukee. But if you are going to any races, follow us on Instagram and tell us where you're going, because maybe we'll do some meetups if we have a couple groups like in Road America or at the 500.
Yeah, why not?
Just to meet some people.
Yeah.
More people like us just crazy about the sport.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're closing off the episode here. What we're going to do for a lot of our episodes is we want to make sure that you know a little bit about IndyCar history. So I will throw it over to Milena to talk about some fun IndyCar history facts. And
I just have one fact for right now. I want to, take it easy for the whole, season, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Drop that fact.
This was a question that I got actually at work. I was talking about the podcast and our interests, and someone asked me like, well, why do they call it IndyCar in the first place?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? So it's a great question. And obviously it roots in Indianapolis, right? Where everything started. Indianapolis, again, the 500, the holy grail of the whole season. And that's pretty much why they call it IndyCar. It's just, I don't know if anyone has ever been to Speedway, Indiana. It is in their blood. The track is in the middle of a neighborhood. And there's these small little houses that they decorate. They go all out. So it's in their blood. Well, and David Letterman is from Indianapolis.
Yep.
So he has a team. And he's got multiple teams, doesn't he? Not only is it just Indy, or does he have it in?
I think he has some other investments in other series as well,
but not as heavy as Indy.
No.
I want to say, right?
Yeah, and the tradition that Indianapolis and IndyCar have, I remember, was it for the Indy GP we went a few years back? Like people have converted their garages into these like IndyCar, come by, have a drink with us, man caves. Yeah. And it's like, holy crap. Like I would love one of those. Yeah. So that's actually, it's in their blood. And, there's actually a few Hoosiers or Hoosier adjacents that, Ed Carpenter was born in Illinois, but spent a lot of time in Indiana.
Naturally.
You have Connor Daly, who was born and raised in Indiana. So, it's nice to also see international drivers now be interested in the sport too. But it's that Midwestern charm we go back to.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's all we got for at least our preseason primer episode. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about us and IndyCar as a whole. We'll continue talking a little bit about the season in our next episode. We'll kick off St. Pete, but I'll be the first to say, I don't know everything about IndyCar. I need to Google some things. I need to look up, 100%. Driver facts, things of that nature. But here we just want to create a community where we can just talk a little bit about it.
Make it fun.
Yeah.
Just, not intimidating. Some people think, the girlfriends, sometimes the guys are so into the racing and then the girls want to get into it. And like, it's such a great community, easy. Everyone just wants to spread the word, I feel like, about Indies. So that's how we're getting started here.
Yeah. So we'll see you in our next episode. Make sure to subscribe and follow on all of our channels, which we'll link in the description below. And crap, Milena, that's it.
That's a wrap.